What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to take a picture of anyone or maybe your pet, remove the background and insert a different background, right? So the point is to remove the background of our subject, and then we can slot in different kind of backgrounds, and that will be done in Photoshop. That is what I'm going to show you now. So now if this is something that you're interested in, and this is the kind of videos that you enjoy, I'm going to be doing more Photoshop tutorials in the future. So be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you will be notified when I make a new upload. Because in the coming weeks, I think probably next week, I'm going to do a full introduction to Photoshop for beginners. So going through all of the tools and the menus and what they're used for and how to use them. And it's actually really, really simple. So if that is a kind of video that you're interested in and you want to learn more about Photoshop, then please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right, now jumping over here into Photoshop. I just downloaded this image of a beagle or a dog on freepik.com, which is a fantastic program for free stock images. So if you're looking for pictures, be sure to jump over to Freepik and get your image. So now we've got our image here in Photoshop, right? Now let me just start by saying that this tutorial, or what I'm showing you guys here, is for absolute beginners. Most people that have been using Photoshop for a while will know how to do this. So if you know how to cut out images and replace the backgrounds, then obviously this video is not for you. But maybe you know someone that wants to learn and you can share this video with them. Now, we've got our image here. Let's say you got a photo of yourself or maybe a friend that was taken somewhere and you want to replace the background, make it look a little bit more interesting. This is what you can do. There's one of two ways that I like to do this, right? So the first way is, it's a technique that I probably use around 60% of the time because it's so effective. So what we want to do here is we've got our image selected. Make sure your image is not locked. You can unlock it there. And if it doesn't want to unlock, you want to duplicate your image by dragging it down here to the layer button. So let's just say it was locked. You can go down there, make sure it's not locked. You can delete that, unlock, delete, and then you want to add in a new layer and drag it underneath that layer, right? Now, if you go over here, so obviously if you're very new to Photoshop, you might not understand or know the tools that I am showing you now. But that's why it's important maybe to tune in next week when I do a full introductory course of the interface of Photoshop. But for now, you just want to go over here. 1, 2, 3, the fourth one from the top, left click and hold, and you want to go here to Object Selection Tool. Now this is a fantastic tool to use. And now, the easiest way to do this is Photoshop has added this really nice, fantastic button over here called Select Subject. Now, we want to go ahead and click that. Make sure you have your photo layer selected. And now Photoshop will analyze and try and select the subject for you, which will save you a lot of trouble. Now, most of the time, majority of the time, this actually works. As you can see, there is some issues here. It didn't select perfectly, right? Around there, it missed the tail and the toe and some of the leg here. It's not a train smash, right? So that's a good start. You can now just go over here. Now that your subject is selected, you can go over to your mask and you can click Add Layer Mask. And already you can see it's done a fantastic job. Now, what we want to do is we do want to remove that little bit of yellow. So what I'm going to do here is just zoom in. So by zooming in, I'm holding Alt on the keyboard and I'm just rolling the mouse wheel forward and backwards. And what you can do now is you can go back here and hold that in, and you can go to Magic Wand tool. Make sure you select your image right on here, click there, and then you want to go over to the yellow part and left click, and it will select that part that we didn't want. And now you want to press G on the keyboard for fill. Make sure your color is on black, and then click on the mask and fill that color with black, and it will disappear. So that's one way to do it, right? And then what we can do is drop in our own background. So I once again downloaded this image on Freepik, drop in our image, and move your image to below the layer of your subject. And you can see already that looks great. We've got our dog on a new background. So that's the basics, right? That is how a quick way to replace your subject. There is some small issues here which we can fix, but it's a little bit more complex, and that is moving into more intermediate Photoshop user skill level. So let's just undo all of that. And I'm going to show you another way. So we can go back here to our selection, go object select, select our subject. It's going to select our subject. And then what we can do is to add and remove these parts. Is you can left click and hold and go to quick selection. And now you want to increase your brush size, right? Make sure you have selected the plus brush. Make sure you want to select the minus brush. Now we want to exclude this part, so we're going to select the minus for excluding. First, you just want to click randomly and see if it does a good job or not. Sometimes not so much. You can undo by pressing Ctrl Z, reduce your brush size, and just click and try again. Maybe click there, and now go to your plus to add back in. We want to add a little bit back in here. You can left click and drag to kind of paint back in what you want of the subject. And now we go over here to the foot, and we can add in a little bit of the foot here and the tail. Go to the minus, and it's not going to be perfect because there's not such a great contrast in the colors here. So Photoshop is not sure where the toe ends and where the surface begins, right? But it's not the end of the world. We are just going to be using the top part anyway. So now that we've got our dog selected, again, we want to press on the mask tool, and Photoshop will remove the background. Then we want to drop in our own background once again, move it to underneath your subject layer. And what we can do to make this look pretty cool is we can press C to crop, or you can just go to your cropping tool. And then I just want to crop in a little bit on our doggy. I want to crop away some of this bottom part. And look at that. Now that looks like you've got some sort of dog food advert right there. And we can even go as far as to selecting our background, then going to filter, blur, and clicking on Gaussian blur. And now we can add blur to our background. And if you move the slider, that will determine how much blur you add into your image. We just want a little bit of blur, just so that the focus is on our dog here in front, or our subject. And now once we're happy with that amount of blur, we can click OK. And there you go. That is a quick way to remove your background and add in your own backgrounds. Now, there is another way you can do this by using the pen tool. Now, that is something I'll show in another video, because there it's a little bit more controlled. You can control which part of your subject that you want to remove from the background, or that you want to remove from the background. Now, that is a little bit more advanced. I will show you that maybe in the next video when I explain to you how to use the pen tool and other tools, which is the video that I was talking about, where I will be going through a beginner's course of the interface. So if you want to see that video and upskill yourself in Photoshop, then be sure to subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this quick tip, and hit that bell icon so you are notified for the next video. I will see you next time.